Dear moderator and my dear friends, for a change, let me begin this talk with a prayer. Om Sahana Vavadu Sahana Punaktu Sahaviryam Karava Vahai Tejasvi Navadhidamastu Ma Vidyushva Mahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I think you followed the meaning. This is an Upanishadic prayer which the teacher, the Guru, and the disciples said together before they started the lesson. And it means, may the Lord protect us both. May the Lord be happy with us. May what we learn bring us great energy. May we get enlightenment, and may we never hate each other. Om, peace, peace, peace. And for a change, I am not using any gadgets like PowerPoint, etc. It is straight talk. Oktaham, Srodaraha, Yuyam. And for a change, I am not speaking about library and space in library, etc. I am talking about word, work, and language. As he said, the title of the paper is Sabda-Pramana, the written and spoken word as the means for right knowledge. Nyaya, an issue of Nyaya Epistemology. In fact, library deals with words. A book contains words organized in a meaningful, logical way, and a lot of books make a library. So ultimately, library is also dealing with the word itself. So my talk is in that sense is okay. Of all the philosophers and language theorists of the world, the Indians are the ones who have dived deep into the inner intricacies of word and language. There is no doubt about it. Indian philosophical system, any system you take, they start with the pramanas. How do you know things? How do you know objects? So they start with the means for right knowledge that differs from system to system. For example, the Buddhists may have only 2. Shankaracharya had 6 means of right knowledge. So that is different in system to system. So the question they ask always, how do we know objects? How do we form judgment basing on this objective knowledge? Nyaya, this is a paper is on Nyaya system. Nyaya philosophy, the founder is Sage Gautama. He's not a historical person. Anyway, he lived, his basic text is Nyaya Sutra, which is probably written in around 600 BCE. And there is a commentary on it, Nyaya Bhashya, by Vatsyayana, that happened some centuries later. So Nyaya mainly deals with the pramanas, the means for right knowledge. What are the means? They speak about 4 means. You know these things. One is pratyaksha, that is sense perception. Second is inference, anumana, that you use your intellect. Third is Sabda-Pramana, that is my theme. Third is the verbal testimony, the testimony of a trustworthy person. And the fourth is Upamana, which is comparison, or a kind that is not exactly a means for right knowledge, but they say that also may be included in that. Before I go to Sabda-Pramana, I want to say a few words about Vak, the word. That is the basic unit of a language. A variety of ancient scriptures, right from the beginning of the Vedas, we have a number of quotations saying that the Vak is the creative force. For example, I quote one from the Rig Veda. Chatvari Vakparimida Padani Tani Vidur Brahmanaha E Manishanaha Guha Trini Nihida Nagayandi Turiyam Vajo Manishya Vadandi. That means the learned people know that Vaks, the word's existence is in 4 forms. Three of them are hidden. They do not speak. And the humans, we speak the 4th form of this word. The Sanskrit grammarian, great grammarian Bhartrhari, who lived in the 5th century CE, he says in his Vakyapadiya, which is a magnum opus, Vageva Vishwabhuvanani Jatnye, the word created the entire world. It is very much similar to the words of Saint John, the Gospel of Saint John, the beginning words. In the beginning was Word, the Word was with God, and everything was created by Word. That is in the Gospel of Saint John, the opening sentence. So the eternal Word comes down. It has 4 levels of descendants, 4 levels of coming down in a descending scale. The first is the Paravak, the highest form of word. Its manifestation is in the eternal supramundane space, where all the sound vibrations build various worlds, and it exists in an undifferentiated state. It is beyond the reach of the human intellect. We cannot meditate. We cannot make it an object of our meditation because it is beyond human comprehension. That is the Paravak. Again, we may remember the words of Saint John here. The beginning was a word. Paravak was there. The second level of the descent of the word is Pashyanti Vak. Pashyanti Vak. This is the sound vibration in the causal world, in the Karana world. This is seeing speech. A sage whose consciousness is concentrated in the causal body is able to glimpse the truth in a vision, in a revelation. That is the knowledge acquired by the inner mind, by the sight, without the use of reasoning and without the sensory data. That is the Pashyanti Vak. So probably the sage realized the Shruti text, according to the Orthodox Hindu belief, especially Vedantins and Mimamsa. The Shruti texts are uncreated. It's not created, it is eternal, it is uncreated, it is self-evident, and it is infallible. So the sages realized them in this Pashyanti Vak, in the second form of the Vak. The third level of the word coming down is Madhyama Vak, the middle word. Is the sound perceived in the subtle or pranic world. A good example of this is the thought forms held in our mind. Probably the sages cursed or blessed people with using this word, the Madhyama Vak. So this is not also our human normal word. The fourth is the Vaikhari Vak, and that is the human word, what we speak. It is the lowest form, and it is the spoken word emerging from our throat. Now about Sabda-Pramana, that is the theme. Sage Gautama, the founder of 600 BCE, founder of Nyaya school, defined it as this: the instruction of a trustworthy person who has immediate knowledge of the moral laws, dharma, and who is competent to guide others in the performance of their duties and the abstention from sins for the attainment of the good and for the avoidance of the evil. trustworthy persons are those who perceive the objects as they exist in their real nature and communicate their knowledge to others for the benefit out of compassion for them. This is again repeated by Tarkasangraha of Annambhatta, the famous textbook of Nyaya philosophy. There are two types of verbal testimony, Sabda-Pramana. One is the Vaidikam Vak, the Vaidika Shabda, the divine word, the scriptures. As I said, the Shruti literature, especially Vedantins and Mimamsakas say they are eternal, etc., etc. They are not created by human beings nor even by gods. But the Nyaya philosophers said that is wrong. It is the origin of this scripture, Shruti, is God. God created it. The Shruti text, as you know, comprises of the four bodies of literature. It is the Vedas, the Brahmanas, the Aranyakas, and the Upanishads. So that is their belief, but we know somebody wrote it some point of time. These are therefore the most holy and authoritative text of the Hindu religion. The second is the human testimony, Laugika Shabda. This is the testimony of human beings and therefore liable to errors. The Smriti books, they have human authors. The epics, Puranas and all Dharma Shastras, they are all written by human authors and therefore errors can happen in them. Now the process of communication of the meaning of the words, there are three things or four things which we need to take. I don't explain it. One is aganksha, the mutual implication or the expectancy. When you speak, there should be aganksha. Second is yogyada, fitness. Third is sannidhi, the nearness, proximity. And fourth is the intention of the speaker. Only with all these four ingredients can you make speech production meaningfully. Now, according to Mimamsa, the Mimamsakas are the people who have dived deep into the word and meaning. What is the relationship with the word and meaning and the language, philosophy of language? They divide the Shruti, the sacred text, into three categories. One is Vidhi, injunction, commands. That is important for them. You know, Mimamsas are the people who propose, it is a kind of hermeneutics of the Vedic word. And they say Vedas consist of injunction, commandments. You have to do this, you have not to do these things. These are the Vidhi texts. They are the most important. Commandments, injunctions given by the Vedas. Second is Arthavada. They are explanatory texts. They are second, according to Mimamsa, their value and merit is in the second level. So Arthavada text, either in the form of praise of the good things that ensues from the correct execution of the injunctions, or reproof for omission of carrying out a command. And the third is with mantra text, the mantra which mainly comprises of hymns in praise of the different deities, gods. Mimamsa of Prabhakara says that the cognition through Sabda-Pramana is possible only through injunction, only through the commands, the Vidhi text. The injunctions are expressed by imperative mode, etc., etc. How can an injunction convey meaning and denotation of the word? The Prabhakara Mimamsa would say that this is possible by observing the usage of the grown-up people, vratha vyavahara. The usage of the older people is in this respect is always in the form of an injunction or command given by one person, prayojaka vrta, and the injunction being carried out by another person, prayojya vrta. Thus, for example, one uses the injunction, bring the cow. This is executed by another. And a third person who hears the injunction and sees the consequent action, perceives the meaning of it. So that is how they say injunctions only convey the meaning, vidhi text. Therefore, the primary connotation or denotation, adya vyutpatti, for Mimamsakas is obtained only for the injunctions. The word vyutpatti needs further clarification. Vyutpatti is glosed as Shakti Graha. Shakti in this context means the relationship between word and its meaning, Sabdartha Sambandha. A comprehension of such a relationship is called Vyutpatti. There are 8 means for comprehension of the meaning of the words. They are grammar, comparison, dictionary, words of a trustworthy person, action, connotation of the sentence, explanation, proximity of word, the meaning of which is already established, etc. These are things. So, okay. So I want. Now, I wanted to say something about Spoda theory, but I don't think I will do that. Spoda is not Nyaya philosophy, that is grammarians. So, philosophy of language, Bhartrhari, who lived in the 5th century, is perhaps the most eminent philosopher of language and theorist of language. He is the strongest proponent of Shabda Advaita, the word monism or the speech monism. The ultimate reality is language, is Shabda, verbum aeternum, is magnum opus, is Vakyapadiya, is an eminent treatise on grammar and philosophy. I want to recite the Mangala Sloka. Anadi nithanam brahma shabdanatvam yadaksharam vivarthade arthapavena prakriyo jagado yada. So he wanted to say that the entire world is created by word. The changeless essence of the word is all there is. It has no beginning, nor does it come to an end. It manifests transformed through aims and objects. From it proceeds this changing world. The universe is universe is set in motion by the primeval throb or pulsation, the adya spanda. Following that, everything is created by sound. Artha srishte puram shabda srishtihi. So, thank you very much.